My first attempt was in 2019. Initially, for 3 attempts at a go, I couldn't clear prelims itself. They never pushed me, or they have never kept me under pressure to clear this examination, actually. Aspirants should not give up, actually. It is ultimately we who decide what we are going to do.
I read online somewhere that you have chosen IPS as your first preference.
Actually, it is a rumor thing, but solving a PVQ, solving CSAT, those things I will do in those 4.5 hours. And revising the notes very promptly, and I will be having a timer by my at the side of my table. So your questions were very organic, not very usual, so that I felt like it is like a conversation with a friend.
Hello and welcome everyone. Today we have with us Rajeshwari Suve, who secured AR2 in Civil Services Exam 2025. So first and foremost, congratulations Rajeshwari, and how are you feeling?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm very happy.
I think we were just talking about it, so the family is also over the moon.
Yes, yes. Actually, they are more happier than me. It is because of their support over this long journey. It is actually their dream that has come true.
Actually, I think that's a very true statement that you made, because a lot of the times when we start our civil services journey, it's something that we have inherited.
Yes.
So how did your
That too,
UPSC?
in my case, yeah. That too, in my case, answering your question also, the seats are shown by my parents only. It is not my own thing that I found to be getting into civil services, not like that. When I was in the dilemma of going into whether I can go to job or I can pursue my higher studies, they gave me this idea of why don't you pursue civil services in my final year of preparation. Then I went through the syllabus, and then I went through many toppers videos and what is this job exactly about. And it was much interesting, right? It has its own diversities, challenges, and I found that this is the among only few jobs have this character of having both personal growth along with the national contribution. That factor I liked very much in this job, and obviously I like to study. So these things I have started, and that is the exact starting point.
So I think it's been a very long journey for you. This was your fifth attempt. So
Yeah.
can you give us a brief about how many attempts you took and what was the result of the previous attempts and how did you come to be here?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, as you said, it is my fifth attempt, and my first attempt was in 2019. For 3 attempts, I couldn't initially for 3 attempts at a go, I couldn't clear prelims itself. And during that time, I thought that I can also try Tamil Nadu's PSE's Group 1 examination, which is also similar kind of thing, civil services only. My interest was in pursuing civil services, so I can give a try. In the meantime, in 2024, I got selected in Group 1 services of Tamil Nadu. And during that preparation, I had a break. I didn't give attempts for 2, 3 years.
UPSC.
And yeah, UPSC, I had a break. And then in 2024, after writing my Group 1 mains, which I have cleared, I thought of giving one serious attempt for UPSC because it was my original aim. So I thought I have to give one attempt with fullest effort, whatever it may be. And then I started. At that meantime, only I came to be a part of this non-government scheme of Tamil Nadu government, and I had a chance of staying in All India Civil Services coaching center. Actually, that is the turning point of my preparation personally, because before that I was simply studying and going to exams. What to study, what not to study, how to approach PVQs, those things, those tactics or strategy I learned in 2024 when I was the part of that. And I implemented those things in 2025 attempt, and now it has become a good result.
So how does one apply to the Nan Mudhalvan, right? Nan Mudhalvan, that is the name of the scheme.
Yeah.
So how does one apply for that scheme?
It is a every year in August or September, the application is getting opened, and any aspirant can apply for that scheme. And they are having a written examination, that is objective type examination. Out of it, by getting into the merit list of top 1,000 members in the state, they are giving this scholarship for top ranking 1,000 aspirants. That is 7,500 per month for 10 months. And in that, they are giving the option for around 225 students based on their preferences and their marks. They can stay in All India Civil Services Coaching Center. Their food and accommodation both are free of cost.
I think that is actually a very, very good thing. And I think a lot of state governments do this sort of a thing wherein they are trying to promote the talent from their particular state to get into civil services.
Yes.
So, given your extremely long journey, what kept you motivated throughout? Because you got finally selected in Tamil Nadu PSC in 2024.
Yes.
So from 2019 to 24, that's 5 years. But what kept you motivated?
Yes.
What kept you coming back here?
Yes. First thing was that my small success, I have to say that, because my group 1 attempt, that is TNPSC attempt, it is my third attempt. First 2 attempts, I was clearing prelims consequently there. So that kept me naturally busy into the cycle. Clearing a prelims and I was preparing for mains. Again, clearing a prelims, I was preparing for mains. And in the meantime, I also cleared the group 2 examinations of TNPSC. So those 4 years, I was not sitting idle actually. I was into the cycle of writing mains and preparing for prelims. So that kept me somewhat busy, or that kept me some motivation to run and to pursue. And the second thing is my parents and my family, they are like pillars of my journey. Every time I fail, every time I call them and say, Daddy, I couldn't clear, their reaction would be, no, it's not a problem at all. Give a try. From our side, we can, the thing we can give is the hard work, our true efforts only. They never pushed me, or they have never kept me under pressure to clear this examination actually. So these two things only have pushed me towards through almost for 5 to 6 years until getting Group 1 services in 2024. And one interesting thing in after 2024 is that everyone are asking, many have asked me, you are already deputy collector and you can settle down there because it is in your state itself. So it is a good thing. And finally, anyhow, you will be entering into IAS. You will be conferred with IAS after some years. But at that time, I thought is, no, my original aim was to get into All India services through UPSC. I am having confidence in it. I can do it. Why should not I try? Why should I settle down here? It is true that I'm very glad I'm a deputy collector now. I have a great opportunity to serve, and it is of high social prestige also. But I stick on with my original aim of pursuing All India services.
I like that. There should be a fight. You shouldn't give up, and you should be willing to, put yourself out there and see what happens. Maybe you'll find success, maybe you'll fail, but at least you tried.
Yeah, true.
So one more thing that I want to ask over here, which is I feel that female candidates have this worse off than male candidates in that there is some marriage pressure that comes up, and then there is the societal expectation that comes up. So, what would be your advice to other female candidates who, go through the same thing and then they have to struggle through that also?
Yes, exactly true that many candidates many female candidates don't pursue this civil services journey after 2 or 3 years because of this, as you said, this marriage pressure and societal pressure. Either they will get married and they are done away with this, or they are diverted towards any other job like that. Here, I have to say two things. One is regarding with the aspirants, and another with the parents. Aspirants should not give up, actually. It is ultimately we who decide what we are going to do, no one else. And the second, we have to pursue, we have to explain our parents or family, our true passion is that we should not give up in any way. And my humble request to every parent out there is kindly do support candidate, whether it is a female candidate or male candidate, if they are serious. If they are seriously pursuing, we can support them. Actually, in my case, my parents are my shield. I do not face the pressure of marriage face to face till date. Of course, they have been facing it for 3 to 4 years, but they did never let that enter into my life or my preparation. So I feel much blessed. So if this thing can be done to any serious female aspirant, it would be better for their performance.
And I absolutely correctly agree with you that it's the parents' job, because the society will pressure them also, and they'll pressure you also. They have to shield you. And again, I think there is also the aspect over here of the student or the child also living up to their potential. If the
Yes.
person is not putting in the effort, then the parents are not very
Yes, yes.
motivated either.
Yes. That's what I said. If your child is pursuing it seriously, these things,
Hmm.
everything apply only for serious candidates.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
So, couple of other things I wanted to ask you. Like, for example, what we tend to do is we generally connect a note of our candidates with serving officers in states. And
Mhm.
that is usually very useful for, helping and guiding people. And it's something that helps connect the context of the individual.
Okay. Hmm.
Right. So similarly, I think Rohit Nathan sir has been somebody who's been very helpful for you also. So
Yes,
how did
yes,
Rohit
yes.
Nathan sir help you out in your journey? Where did you meet him?
Yeah. I have to personally thank Mr. Rohit Nathan IPS sir because actually I got introduced to him because of Mr. Sudhakaran IRPS, who is Mission Director of Non-Motherland Scheme.
Hmm.
So as I was under his guidance, he personally advised me to visit Rohit Nathan sir because of sir said that Rohit Nathan sir has a huge, good experience in handling interviews. They were
Hmm.
batchmates. So inspired by that, he said he will guide you in a right way. Go and have a meet with him. In that sense, just before leaving to Delhi, before 2 days, I was leaving to Delhi on Jan 6th, and I saw sir around Jan 3 or 4 only. I went to his cabin and we had a discussion of about 1.5 hours. He was explaining me the discussion was not about the content of the examination, what to study, not about knowledge, but he asked one thing: what do you think that personality test is expecting from you?
Hmm.
And I said that I can't exactly figure it out, and I just simply replied that it is the personality. That is what they are testing, right? I said,
Hmm.
what is they testing? "Ah, it is a personality." He said, exactly, that is the key word here. They are testing your personality apart from your knowledge. So uh, we have to get tuned to it in a
Hmm.
good way. And he gave many inputs. He also said he actually noticed me while entering into the room itself. He noticed me from that moment, how I walk and how I sit and how I speak. So from that moment itself, he evaluated my nature, and he pointed out, you have a great knowledge, you know what to do. But what I thought is that I was a bit less. Actually, I was confident from my inner side, but it was not expressed very well. That
Hmm.
sir have identified and told me, you have to be more confident when you are seen. It must be expressed outside. And
Hmm.
he also advised me some voice exercises for a broader voice and all. So it was ultimately getting answers from my own self by questioning. So it was just an enlightening and a realization session for me. And when leaving that room, I felt that there is some attitudinal changes in me towards approaching interview itself. So that was a great thing. in
I
my
think
case.
that's the thing when you have a good candidate and you get the right guidance at the right time, well, it makes
Yeah, yeah.
wonders.
Yeah, it is like meeting a right person at the right time in my preparation. Yeah, true, true.
Right. So I read online somewhere that you have chosen IPS as your first preference.
Actually, it is a rumor
I
thing.
don't know
Many
why.
of my
Ah,
I don't know why many are asking like that,
I
and
think
it is
some random institutes have just put up, Rajeshwari is choosing IPS over IAS, and I was also very confused as to why is that the case. So anyhow, uh, what I also wanted to ask you is that in the digital age, right now we live in a multitude of social media of all kinds of distractions. So how did you keep yourself motivated? You were also doing a job, and right, you are at that age where your friends are doing pretty well, they're
yeah,
traveling, they're in private jobs. So how do you deal with that feeling of okay, I'm missing out on something? How do you deal with that FOMO?
yeah. This FOMO thing, as everyone has, I also had actually. I would be complaining my parents that see because of you I have lost my early 20s, and I am also wasting my later 20s also because
Hmm.
of you only. That
Yeah.
kind of things I also used to say, and ultimately, what matters is that traveling or getting together with the friends, those things are quite nice, and it
Hmm.
has to be there in everyone's life. It's up to an individual. But why we are undergoing this process? The reason of why we started, why we are undergoing these things.
Hmm.
What is the real motive behind this preparation? That is the thing that keeps on prickling me throughout this journey. That is the driving force actually.
Hmm.
And also, and it is my personal thing that I will not give up easily to anything. If it is not coming to me, it is
Hmm.
if it is not, I couldn't make it positive way. I will try my best to get into positive way. I won't settle down. That is some natural trait, I think. That many aspirants who have won or who have cleared after multiple attempts, they possess this. So do not give up. That attitude should be there.
I think
Whatever may be the trials outside.
this is an attitude, I think, that gets filtered out if there is a candidate who's here for the fifth attempt.
Yes.
Naturally, it will be somebody who is a little
Yes.
optimistic,
Yes.
right?
Yes, yes. Anyone will be get tuned towards this positive attitude if they are
If they have
staying
to
for
survive,
five
if they
years.
have to stay here for long enough.
Yes, yes. And coming to this digital thing and all, I do have accounts in every social media. Only thing is, I won't be very much taken away with those things. Or
Hmm.
I will restrict the timing. My exams are nearing, I will just uninstall those things. That's all. I won't think it will disturb me. I am having good friends. I will be
Hmm.
getting connected with them. But if I feel that it is distracting me, I'll just uninstall them. I can get it after my exams. That is my. I'm not get. I do not have this practice of getting addicted with these social media things.
See, that's the thing. Nobody wants to practice getting addicted. You just get addicted, and then it becomes a problem. So,
Yes.
Rajeshwari, last couple of questions from you.
Yeah.
How did you manage your time? Because you gave a 25 ka attempt, and then you were already in service by then. You might have been in training. So, how did
Yes.
you manage your time with a full-time job? And like, what are
Yes.
some suggestions that you would give to somebody who is
Yes.
also
Yes.
preparing with the job?
Yes, yes. As you said, since 2024, I was working, and before that, I was a full-time aspirant. There was ample of time. I can have a rest at any time. I can start my
Hmm.
schedule at any time. After getting into work, I thought that I had a good foundation then because I was already preparing for 6 years. So what I did is I will use the non-office hours very wisely and very
Hmm.
promptly. What to do? I should not waste those hours because those are very precious.
Hmm.
I have the habit of starting early. That is 5 to 9 or 9:30 in the morning. I will study. That 4.5 hours is more productive. This advice I gained from one of my seniors who is in Indian Foreign Service now. And she advised me that she was also cleared the examination while she was under training as deputy collector. So she said, she's Miss Satyanandi IFS, and she said that I would be studying in morning hours, and after work it is not. We can't be sure whether we can study or not because the schedule is not fixed for us.
Yeah.
So those morning 4.5 to 5 hours, they are like immensely. They have supported that those hours were used wisely. And second thing is what we do in those 5 hours. That matters actually. Newspapers and all I can read while I am traveling in my office hours. That is different. But solving a PVQ, solving CSAT, those things I will do in those 4.5 hours. And revising the notes very promptly, and I will be having a timer by my at the side of my table, and that keeps me motivating. Okay, we can do. The time is running, so be fast. And those early morning studies will help very much in my case, and weekends obviously every working candidate will use it. When exams are nearing, I took completely leave for my preparation only. For those prelims, more than 2 months, and mains for 3 months. At that time, I took leave. But using those time in my working hours was actually very helpful for me.
Right. So I think this is very similar to, like, for example, 23 May, there was rank 2, Animesh Pradhan. He
Yes.
also had a very similar idea, and in which he said that he was also working full time with the PSU, and he said, I used to wake up at 4 a.m. and for 4.5 hours I would study, because same thing in the evening, you don't know, sometimes office will extend, sometimes there is just like, negativity from work that will carry over.
We will be mentally exhausted even if we are having time. So
Yeah.
it is not.
So it's not something that can be done. And then obviously there is the secondary aspect of it, that you have to be okay with giving up a lot of things, because you don't
Yes.
have the
True.
time and the energy to like have a
Yeah.
social life after it, or like I will go and watch a movie, this, that, XYZ. There has to be some amount of sacrifice that will go into this. Right. So I think, Rajeshwari, last question from you.
Yeah.
What is one piece of content, be it a book or a movie or a TV series or like anything that you have watched, be it a documentary, that you would recommend to people who are preparing for civil services, which is not related to syllabus?
I am extremely sorry in this case because, as you said, I was running short of time every
Mm.
day. I do not have this practice of watching a series or documentary.
Any
Actually, to
book
be
that you
frank,
read?
I saw a movie. No, not probably. What I think is I don't have time to read my NCRTC even. That was my. I'm really sorry for that.
No
I'm
worries, no
not the
worries.
right person to
Hmm.
recommend these things. I don't know.
So
I
any
didn't
particular
actually do
practice
it.
that you would like to recommend?
Yeah, practice. I can very well recommend. I practice the yoga
Hmm.
mornings in morning. At least I will ensure 20 minutes of yoga. Meditation for just 5 minutes, chanting this Omkar mantra is like
Hmm.
a great relief for me. I personally do this, so I can very well recommend this.
Hmm.
Do some yoga or meditation or any physical exercise for just half an hour before starting a day. Because as everyone knows, our this aspirant life is very monotonous.
Yeah.
It will take away every physical and mental strength out of us. So
And not just
practicing
that,
any
it's also sort of like, this is something that I have been saying for the last 5 years, online, offline, anywhere where I meet students, is 30 minutes of physical activity any given day improves brain function. This is
yes,
a
true,
well-established
true.
study, scientifically proven, and yet for some reason people find excuses for, okay, it's too hard. When will I study
Yeah,
this?
those mistakes I have also made. We will
Hmm.
be thinking that missing that just that half an hour will not give us air one. That kind of
Hmm.
attitude we will be having, we aspirants. So that is actually a wrong thing. We should be doing something. Ultimately, as you said, it will increase the productivity of us only.
Absolutely. So, Rajeshwari, it was a wonderful conversation with you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you
And
so much. Your questions were very organic, not very usual. so that I felt like it is like a conversation with a friend. Thank you so
So
much.
I think the difference over here is that I'm somebody who's gone through the exam process also. I myself gave 6 attempts. So
Okay,
giving
sir.
6 attempts, getting cleared twice, and then having a conversation with people, I understand where people are facing problems and what's going on.
Yeah. True,
And
true. Because sources are everywhere online. So nothing to say on the sources things and all. So this conversation was very nice.
thank you for your time and congratulations one more time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.